For the past 37 years, in Iran, we have had 4 presidents electing their opposition into office. 4 presidents. President Rafsanjani elected President Khatami, who at the time of his election, not now, was considered President Rafsanjani's opposition. President Khatami elected who? President Ahmadinejad, who nobody doubts was his opposition. President Ahmadinejad elected President Rouhani, who was the farthest candidate from him. In all societies on whom you have not imposed sanctions, in our region, none of that has happened. The ballot box doesn't rule. So let me ask this question from you. Why have you imposed sanctions on Iran and not on anybody else? This is a question that needs to be answered if we want to deal seriously with human rights. If human rights is not going to be a subject of political maneuvering, if human rights is not going to be an issue that you beat your opponents with. I have represented Iran in the United Nations. I saw at the time when the Saddam Hussein regime of Iraq was one of the proponents of human rights in Iran, was voting along with the European Union in resolutions against Iran. And there was not a single resolution against Saddam Hussein in the United Nations. Then Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and all of a sudden, he became the worst violator of human rights. Saddam was a despot, a human rights violator, but he wasn't a human rights violator because he invaded Kuwait. He invaded Kuwait because he was a human rights violator. And everybody in the international community put the cart before the horse. And I think that is where we find human rights abused in the international community and the legitimacy and credibility of the work for human rights undermined. I agree with you, the Helsinki process minus human rights doesn't work. Human rights is a legitimate concern of the international community. I agree. But then we need to respect the fact that human rights must be the determining point and not political considerations. When you go home, please consider for yourselves, if a country in our region is supposed to be under EU sanctions for human rights, should it be Iran? Just ask this question from yourselves. Should it be Iran? Or should it be the country that is bombarding the hell out of the people of Yemen? How many people have died in Yemen? You looked? More people die in Yemen on a daily basis because of Saudi bombardments than they die in Syria. Yes. Look at the statistics. Look at the statistics. Look at the statistics, sir. You've got to go and see what is happening. You cannot close your eyes. There is nothing to bomb in Yemen. Nothing other than human beings. A cement factory has been bombed 5 times. A flour factory has been bombed 4 times because there are no targets. For the past 11 months, Yemen has been ravaged. And nothing, I know that European Parliament has started talking about it recently. But we got to be careful when we deal with these issues.